Welcome to the Sales Lead Dog Podcast, hosted by CRM technology and sales process expert Christopher Smith, talking with sales leaders that have separated themselves from the rest of the pack. Listen to find out how the best of the best achieve success with their team and CRM technology. And remember, unless you are the lead dog, the view never changes.
Welcome to Sales Lead Dog. Today I have joining me Donna Serdula. Donna, welcome to Sales Lead Dog.
Thank you so much for having me, Chris.
So Donna is a LinkedIn expert, and I am really excited to have Donna on Sales Lead Dog because if you're in sales, you're on LinkedIn, and you're probably struggling or trying to figure out like, how the heck could I use this, or how should I be using LinkedIn? How can it help me be better in sales? How can I leverage LinkedIn to help my team be better at sales? There's so much here to talk about. Donna, really excited to have you on the show.
Oh, I'm excited to be here. I love LinkedIn. I've been using it for years, and I love more than anything is to share the passion and try to help people understand how they can adopt it.
That's awesome. I want to hear your story on how you got to be a LinkedIn expert. What's your journey to this place you are now?
I had a crazy journey. I'll admit that. And oh my gosh, Chris, I mean, it almost feels like I'm talking about the Flintstones. I never thought we'd get to the point where like social media is like kind of, mature and seasoned, because back in the day it was so new and so different. And LinkedIn is one of the oldest social networks still out there and cranking. Do you remember when you joined LinkedIn?
Oh yeah. And it was like, I was probably on there for 2 or 3 years, sitting at about, like, I got my immediate connections with friends and family, people I knew really well. And then I sat there with that for probably 2 or 3 years and not really engaged with it or used it in any way.
Yeah, I joined, it was 2005 when I signed up, and I wasn't even an early adopter because it was really like 2003 when, people started to first join the platform. So I was a little late, not terribly late, but a little late. And I remember back then it was stripped bare. It wasn't like it is today. I mean, there wasn't as much, but the one thing that they did have was the LinkedIn profile. And I remember looking at it and thinking, this looks a lot like my resume. Let me pull up my old, out of date, boring resume. And let me just copy and paste the fields right in.
It's exactly what I did.
It's exactly what people do every day, even now. And I did that. And the thing with the buzz back then, as it still is join LinkedIn. It's opportunity galore. You're going to find leads. You're going to find your clients. You're going to find partners and jobs. It's like amazing. And I remember that was like rattling in my head. And I was like, okay, hit me. Come to mama, give me something. And nothing happened.
Right. Like, why aren't people finding me? Why aren't people coming to me?
I know, like, why is my phone not ringing? I probably didn't even put my phone number in there, but whatever. It, like, nothing happened. And I just thought, all right, silly. And I just went on with my life, with my business. I made a career change. No thanks to LinkedIn, by the way. Suddenly I find myself, now this is like 2006 timeframe, 2007. And I'm now suddenly heading up a new territory in Philadelphia. I am selling AutoCAD software, Autodesk software, basically like digital prototyping, modeling software to architects and engineers. And I'm in this territory. And what I didn't like, when I took the job, I wasn't really all that smart about it. And only after I took it did I find that I was a reseller, and my competitors were all selling the exact same software.
Oh my.
The exact same services.
Yeah.
And so I'm now sitting there trying to build up this territory, trying to sell the exact same product as my competitors. And I'm like, how do you differentiate yourself? How do you differentiate? You don't differentiate the product. What people
Right.
are buying is you, right? That
Yep.
was a huge trigger for me. And then a little further along, as I was cold calling, because back then cold calling, it still is important, but back then that was it. I was cold calling, and I found that before each cold call, I would like to see who it was that I was calling. So I would do a real quick Google search, and invariably, the only pertinent result that kept coming up was the person's LinkedIn profile. And I rarely ever got anything good from it. It always looked like these dry, dull, out of date resumes. And then I remember I had this epiphany, Chris, just this crazy epiphany. I'm excitedly, I got, again, I got an appointment. And what do? I Google the guy's name. And as I'm Googling, and I thought, oh my God, I bet he's Googling me.
Oh yeah.
What is he like? I've been spending all this time Googling and visiting LinkedIn profiles.
Yeah.
Maybe they're looking at me.
Yeah.
That was it. That was it for me. I backed up. I put in my name. Only pertinent result, LinkedIn profile. What did it look like? It looked like what I had done back in 2005.
Right.
And what am I saying, like, on this profile? Like, oh, I love to prospect. I love to hunt for business. I love to close, like the last thing my target audience wanted to hear.
Yeah.
So at that moment, that was when it all came into place for me. I thought, my gosh, your LinkedIn profile is not your resume. Your LinkedIn profile should be a digital introduction. It should be a first impression. It should be your reputation. And I started at that point, I started to really take time and tell a story. And I also started to realize, these people were looking for someone like me. They just didn't know I existed. I just needed to figure out what those keywords are so I could pop up higher in search. Then when they'd find me, they'd read this really intelligent, warm, engaging, fun, inspirational type of profile. My sales went through the roof.
That's amazing.
So in 2009, that was when I was like, you know what? I've got something here. Yeah. The world needs to understand what this is. This is truly a player. This is an engine. And, we've got to really start utilizing it in a smart, strategic way. At that point, I started my company. And what I did is I said, hey, I'm going to write LinkedIn profiles for people because it's hard to write about yourself.
Right.
It's not the easiest platform to navigate. And there's this tremendous ROI for the clients because as soon as they start to tell their story and people start to know who they are, what they do, how they help, good things happen.
Yep. And what's the name of your company for everyone?
Well, the name of my company is Vision Board Media.
Yep. Love it.
Our website is linkedin-makeover.com.
Yep. Love that too. When I got your email domain, I'm like, ooh, you've got it going on. You thought of all the different angles.
I mean, I was the first. I was definitely one of the first. When you look at it, to get the linkedin-makeover.com domain, that says something.
Oh yeah. Yeah. No kidding. Like, yeah, good luck trying to get anything close to that now. So what are some of the common mistakes people are making, other than making it look like their resume? What are some of the common mistakes people are making with their LinkedIn profile?
I think they aren't taking the time to really think strategically about their message and how that message changes depending upon where they are in their career. Mm-hmm. A lot of times people will spend time and then all of a sudden, time just keeps ticking. And the next thing they know, their profile is an obituary.
Right.
It's everything they did back 5-10 years ago and not about who they are today. And a lot of times we have to, really think, wait, is this the story of who I was, or is this the story of who I want to be and where I want to go?
Right.
It also has a lot to do with when you think about your target audience. For
Right.
salespeople, if you're a salesperson and you're looking for a job, that message is different than if you're a salesperson who is selling a product or a service.
Right.
Right? The messaging is totally different. The target audience is different. Just like I had said before, when I first looked at that profile, it was talking about how I could sell, but that wasn't the message that my target audience wanted to know. My target audience wanted to know that I understood, the industry, that I understood their pain points, that I knew I knew the software, and I knew how it could help them, and I could get them the help that they needed. But that wasn't in the profile.
It amazes me. You just hit something for me, just like, oh my gosh. I do what you said, where like when people are trying to sell me, I go check out their LinkedIn profile. And more often than not, it looks like they're looking for a job.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then it gives me, I'm like, wait a minute, are they going to be there in 3 months? If I buy from them, are they happy where they are? I get confused, like,
Yeah.
what's going on here? What's the message there? I see that all the time.
This is huge. Yeah. I mean, think of it from the company standpoint too.
Yeah.
These companies are trying to recruit rock stars, right? They're trying to get top talent, and top talent is smart.
Yeah.
They're relevant. They understand what's going on. So, they are going to look and say, wait, who am I going to be working for? What does the executive team look like? What are the, what is my department, the heads and the people who are my colleagues, my potential colleagues?
Right.
Oh, they look like they're looking.
Yeah.
Why would I want to go to a place where people are trying to escape?
Exactly. And it's that whole thing of, like you said earlier, you've got to keep it in the moment of where you are now, and what are you trying to get done now? And it's not something that, like, even me, I'm thinking like, man, I haven't looked at my profile in probably 18 months.
Yeah.
Even though I'm not looking for a job or anything like that, this is something, how frequently should we be looking at our profile?
I believe that you should always be there in the back of your mind. You
Right.
do something, make sure you update it. Now I recognize that it's easy for me to say. So every 3 months, I think, is
Yeah.
something to maybe put a tickler onto your calendar. But there's another reason why, Chris, that you want to do this. All right. It's not just to stay up to date. It's also to showcase that your profile is fresh, right? Because
Right.
LinkedIn is a search engine, right? We always forget, oh, it's a professional network. Oh, it's a database of it is a search engine. And people do go to LinkedIn because people like to do business with people that they know, or people who know people that they know. There's a sense of, okay, if so-and-so used him, he must be okay.
Yep.
And so we like that. We like to know where they sit within our network, that there's a proximity. And so LinkedIn is beautiful with that, right? Because you put in, hey, I'm looking for this product or this service, or I need assistance in this manner. When you see those search results, the search results show you, oh, this is a first degree connection. I know him, or I know her. This person's a second degree. There's a mutual connection so she knows someone that I know. Now with LinkedIn, they have all of these profiles to serve up in the search, right? So are they going to serve up a profile that was last updated 6 years ago over one that was updated 3 weeks ago? Which one's going to get, preferential treatment?
Right.
The fresher one.
Yeah. That's amazing. I never even considered that. And I'm sure I'm like probably everyone else listening, like, geez, I haven't touched my profile in forever.
Yeah. The other part with LinkedIn is when people look at that profile. Now, this is relatively new. This is not the way it was all the time. It's within the last few years. LinkedIn puts your activity right there on your profile. And so when a person looks at your LinkedIn profile and they scroll through, if you don't have any activity, it says this person doesn't have any activity for the last 90 days.
Right.
So you almost wonder, like, wait, there's no activity, that they're not engaged, they're not active.
Right.
people like to do business. They like to work with sales professionals that have a strong brand, right? Who are, involved in their community, who are out there helping and making things, possible.
Yeah.
There's nothing greater than being able to look at that profile and say, wait, look, this person is actively involved in their network, in their community, in their industry.
Yeah. That's the other part of it too, that I'm glad you brought that up, because that's also something I look at. Like if they're not actively posting, like if I look at the profile and say, what's their post history, and there's nothing there, I'm like, this person really doesn't seem to be with it. Like if they're not actively using these platforms and engaging and producing useful content, it gives me another message or a clue that I'm like, is this really who I want to be working with or working for or whatever, whatever perspective why I'm visiting that profile. To be on LinkedIn, it's a commitment. If you're it's not just enough like, hey, here's my profile and you're done.
It is. I mean, at one time, and it's still true to an extent today, which is you can be somewhat passive on LinkedIn and still find tremendous success. Because if your profile is optimized, it showcases, a strong identity, a brand, it tells a story. Like just having that in itself,
Yep.
A person could overlook the lack of activity. Right? They're like, well, they look great. They've got the featured section. They got a background graphic. The profile picture looks like money. This is someone I want to work with. So there is an element where you could be somewhat passive and still get, a level of success. But if you want more, and most of us want more, you do want to get active. Now, you will hear people say, you have to post 3, 4, 5 times a day. You have to post every day or else it's not even worth it. And to that, I say, that's insanity.
It is.
There is no way, unless you have a marketing department under you,
Yeah.
that is even remotely possible for most people. All right. Now, if you're a social media influencer, like totally just ignore what I'm going to say. But if you are a regular person slogging through, that road warrior, that person who's, going to demos, to meetings, who's making these phone calls, who's managing a territory, who's, making sure that their sales funnel is full, it's hard. And I recognize that. So this is what I say: post once a week. And if you can't post once a week, post once every 2 weeks. Right. And if you can't post once every 2 weeks, post once every 3 weeks. But you can't tell me that you can't find the time to post once every 3 weeks, right? I mean, everyone should be able to do that.
Right.
And then move to once a week.
Yeah.
All right. But if you could do it once a week, that's all you need. And the reason why is the LinkedIn algorithm is a little different than the other ones out there. A LinkedIn post can live for days. I mean, I've seen posts live for months.
Yep.
LinkedIn doesn't just show you chronological posts. They show you the top posts. They show you the posts that are popular. They show you the posts that are the people talking about the things that you care about.
Right.
And so if you can craft one really good post once a week, once every 2 weeks, and you make sure that it's engaging, that it's got quality, that it's fun, it has 3 hashtags, the top of it has just some sort of like attention getting type of a, call out, and makes a person want to hit that show more. Yep. And then you ask for interaction, you ask for engagement, and you say, hey, what do you think about this? Tell me in the comments. At that point, you put that out there. That post can live, especially if every time a person comments, you comment back. Yep. And you try to have some really nice, engaging comments and conversation in the comments.
Yep.
That's when it's really working. I mean, that's when you're going to find the success.
Yep. No, I love that. That you mentioned 3 hashtags. Why 3 hashtags?
LinkedIn has stated 3 hashtags. And there has been research done that has shown 3 to 5 hashtags make the most sense. Those are the ones that go viral. Those are the ones that get the most traction.
Right.
If you have too many hashtags, LinkedIn just sort of shuts down.
Okay.
So it's just a best practice that's been stated and has been validated through research.
Yeah, that's good to know, because I know that's another thing. I think it intimidates people. Posting, if you're not used to posting, is like, well, I hear, how do I hashtag, or what hashtag should I be using?
Oh, I know. And then when you say, you just pull them out of your ear, it's not like there's a list anywhere.
Just put some in there.
Yeah, just smack one in there. Well, here's the other thing, right? So you're going to start, like the audience member out there who's listening is going, okay, I'm going to start posting. I can do what Donna says once every 2 weeks, totally doable. I can handle that. The hashtag thing, that's a little weird to me.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So let's, to talk about hashtags, you don't want to just pull them out of your ear. You really don't. I mean, most people do. But what you want to do is you want to really think to yourself, what are the hashtags that my target audience is following? Yeah. Because you can follow hashtags.
Right.
And, you should be following hashtags. That's a way of dialing in your newsfeed, letting LinkedIn know what you care about. Yeah. And so, you should say to yourself, well, you know what, I do cloud computing, that's what I'm selling. So cloud computing and SAS, try to figure out what those keywords are, and then go into LinkedIn, into the search box, and type hashtag, cloud, see how many followers. Yeah. Then do cloud computing, see how many followers. Then do SaaS, see how many, try a whole bunch of different ones and see which ones have the most followers. Yep. And then those that have the most followers, those are the ones that you're going to want to use. Yep. But you also want to make sure that they match your content, because it's in a way, it's a way of categorizing or indexing your content. So LinkedIn knows who to serve it to. And if a person is following a hashtag, they may, it may pop up in front of them.
Yep. No, that's great. Thank you for explaining that. That's actually how we build our hashtags, is exactly that way, as we're looking for for the audiences we're going after, what are the tags that they're following. And we spend time trying to research those even further. We're looking into groups and things like that to see, how can we get the most reach for these posts that we're doing? So it does take some work, but it's not rocket science.
It really isn't. I remember myself, when they first introduced, hashtags, I thought marketing tips, like that's me. That's got me all over it. Marketing tips. Yeah. And I remember I searched marketing tips and it was like 5,000 followers. Right. I thought, well, let me just try marketing. 5 million followers.
Right.
So in some ways it's kind of strange, but in the LinkedIn world, the more general the hashtag, the broader, the more followers it typically has.
Yeah. So is there, if I'm a sales leader and I want to really start communicating to my team that, hey guys, we need to start leveraging LinkedIn. I checked out all your profiles. We need to do work. How should I be getting this started with my sales team to getting them aligned the way they should be with their profiles?
Yeah. And let's be honest, Chris, sales people are hard, right? If, they want to be out there, they want to be calling, they want to be, making money. They do not want to be sitting there typing and writing colorful prose about their, the company message. So you have to recognize there are certain limits just with people in general. What can you give them? So I would say, first off, make it easy. Really think, let me go to our marketing department. Let me get some really nice banners, some background graphics that I can distribute to the team. You know what? Let me hire a photographer to come in and take headshots of everybody. Okay, let me get out some, maybe some boilerplate, descriptions that I can send out. Like that gets you in. But let's say you're thinking, but my audience is really high level. And, a part of what we're selling is the breadth and the depth of our experience and our knowledge. And I don't want to have a cookie cutter type of approach.
Right.
At that point, that's when you may want to call in the guns like us,
Yes.
where we come in and we'll work with the marketing team to make sure that we really understand the brand and the strategy. And then we'll talk with each individual and we'll understand, what their story is, and we'll craft something that's unique. I mean, we even have pared down services where, look, yeah, maybe you have all of the boilerplate stuff, but you still need to get them to go in there and upload it. And that in itself is really hard.
It is.
So,
and that's like, most people aren't good about talking about themselves or highlighting themselves. Most people don't feel comfortable that way. We're much better about talking about the product or service that we're selling, things like that. So to me, it makes total sense to bring in an expert. I try to do that wherever I can. It's like, you have to recognize what we're not good at, and let's get help for, someone that is an expert at this to come in and help us, so that, because this is so important, you want to get it right.
It's one of those things where there are so many eyeballs looking and judgments are being made. You have control as to how people perceive you, how people perceive the company.
Yep.
And, spending that time with, the sales team, with the executive team, you're going to see it's not just in leads and prospects and sales, it's also in recruiting.
Yep.
Right? Because you're going to get better people coming on board, and it can extend to investors. It can extend to partnerships. There's so much that comes.
Oh, no, it is. It's kind of funny. Like we're on LinkedIn because we want to get the benefits of LinkedIn, but then we're hesitant to do the work necessary to really make it useful. So it's like, why even bother if you're not going to do the work to really make it a tool? Maybe you might as well just stand outside on the road holding up a banner. You're going to have about the same amount of luck, or the same results.
Yeah, with LinkedIn, I do believe that the company can play a role in the adoption, and it's making it easy. It's saying that this is important. We want you to be a brand ambassador. We recognize you are our asset. And we also understand that when you put yourself out there on LinkedIn, it's not to get poached,
right,
but it's because your brand matters too.
Right. Exactly. And that's the thing that, I like that idea, that recommendation of giving help, because it's like, if you can get people 70 or 80% of the way, that last 20% is a lot easier to swallow than trying to start from zero.
Yeah. And so, with LinkedIn, it's that person in the company saying, okay, it's time to conduct a LinkedIn audit. And let's see where we sit. Let's see what it looks like. And it's, we do that all the time. And it is an important piece. It is an important thing to do.
Do you have some favorite profiles that you've done over the years that you can talk to us about? Something that just made you like, I really like doing this one.
Oh my goodness gracious. Yes, I have so many. And I'm almost like a little fearful to say which ones we've done, because we've done some pretty well-known names.
Yeah.
But, I'll tell you this. We have written over 6,000 LinkedIn profiles since 2009. And I absolutely love helping people tell their story. But what I really love is how it's like the LinkedIn profile is this catalyst that really makes people get deliberate on who they are, who their target audience is, what do they do, how do they help, where do they want to go, what is their mission, what is their passion, what do they stand for? Like, no one ever wants to think about those things, right? No one wants to think, but that LinkedIn profile suddenly is that catalyst that makes a person start going down that path. And suddenly when you put that out there into the universe, lives change. I can't tell you how many people have come back to me and said, Donna, I did this, and now I realize this is my path. Yeah. I now recognize I need to be fulfilled, and this is what I'm going after. I also recognize my own worth, and I refuse to take this anymore. And, I'm getting offers that are 40% higher because I didn't even realize how underpaid I was.
Yeah. That's amazing. That's amazing. Has anyone come back to you and just said, like, you've changed my life with this?
Many of them. In fact, if you go to our website and you click on LinkedIn profile examples, you'll see hundreds of examples of profiles that we've written. And also in the slideshow, we have beautiful testimonials that, people who have said, thank God I found you when I did. And they use us every couple years. They're always coming back. And it's a more self-directed way of approaching a career. Right. At one time it was like, oh, I just hope someone will hire me and I'll just stay there forever. But it's this, I know who I am. I know the challenges that I'm facing. And I want to make sure that, I'm navigating my ship. I'm navigating. And for salespeople, I'm not suggesting everyone just jump out or anything, but, really make sure, are you advancing in your career? Are you happy where you are? Are you truly doing what you can do? Yeah. And, all of this, it all comes together in a really strange way. Yeah. But like I said, that catalyst oftentimes is the LinkedIn profile.
Yeah. Donna, it's been great chatting with you here on Sales Lead Dog. People want to reach out and connect. They want to get to your website. Let's give us all that info. What's the best way to connect with you and learn more?
So they can certainly follow me on LinkedIn. That's a fabulous way. I'm always posting really interesting stuff on LinkedIn. So you can click the bell. So if you follow me, then click the bell and you'll always be notified when I'm posting. So I don't get lost in all of the, the noise of LinkedIn. If you visit my website, linkedin-makeover.com, you can learn all about the company, all about our services. I also have tons of free resources, tons of free tools. I've got a LinkedIn headline generator. I've got a text formatter, just some really awesome things that make LinkedIn more successful and more easy.
That's awesome. Also, I have all that stuff on our show notes if you missed any of it. So be sure to check us out on impellercrm.com/sales lead dog and check out this episode as well as all our other episodes of Sales Lead Dog. Donna, great having you on here. Welcome to the Sales Lead Dog Pack.
Should I bark? Hey, Hal.
Not necessary. Not necessary.
Well, thank you. I am happy to be here with you.
Awesome. Thank you.
As we end this discussion on Sales Lead Dog, be sure to subscribe to catch all our episodes. On social media, follow us on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram. Watch the videos on YouTube, and you can also find our episodes on our website at impellercrm.com/Sales Lead Dog. Sales Lead Dog is supported by Impeller CRM, delivering objectively better CRM for business, guaranteed.